Hello, and thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. My name is David. I'm a PhD student at Imperial College London, and my project tries to improve clinical trials in non-pharmacological pain treatments. This video will briefly present what we're after, and I'll give you a little bit more background as to the overall project as well. So, as part of a recommendation process, we are now looking to speak to people with a lived experience in pain or of pain, and possibly people who have taken part in clinical trials before. Together with a group of experts, we've set out to develop a range of recommendations, and we'd now like to hear from potential trial participants, patients, whether those recommendations would be acceptable to them and what their thoughts and concerns are. So this really would take part as would take place as an informal 20 to 30-minute conversation, scheduled flexibly around your other appointments, and all done online. We are hoping to recruit 3 to 6 people and possibly hold those interviews in mid-September. So if you're interested in taking part yourself, or if you know somebody who might be, then please get in touch with me via the email that's provided in the letter, and also do have a look at the formal information sheet that will also be provided to you as a link. Now, I'd like to share a little bit of background where we're coming from with this project and what your potential role in this may be. So as you can see in this project overview, that's a so-called Delphi design, and we've had 1, 2, 3 rounds of surveys with experts in clinical trials and placebo methods to discuss a particular set of recommendations. So the problem we're looking at is the comparison in a clinical trial. In a clinical trial, researchers test whether a treatment works, and they compare it to what's called a sham or placebo-controlled treatment or intervention. In a drug study, this is usually just a sugar pill that looks and tastes and smells the same as the treatment under investigation. So it's quite easy in those studies to what's called conceal from participants in which group they are, whether they get the active or the so-called fake treatment. Now we're looking at non-pharmacological studies, and you can imagine that designing an adequate sham control for something like a cognitive behavioral therapy, for an exercise intervention, for manual therapy, or for other pain self-management approaches is much more complex and much more difficult than it would be with a placebo pill. So the field in the past has developed several approaches, but there's really no best practice and no guideline to guide the research process. This project here aims to change that. So we're now finishing off the 3rd round with those experts, and the output of that will be a preliminary set of recommendations. And I'll turn those recommendations into vignettes, into little scenarios which illustrate to patients or potential trial participants what those recommendations might mean for them. And as part of this, what we call a participant engagement or patient workshop, I'd present those scenarios to you, and then you can share your thoughts on that with me. That will then feed into a final online workshop with the experts again. So your role would really be here in this yellow box, and then as part of your comments would then be discussed in the workshop. This will then feed into a publication which researchers in the future can use to guide their development and trial design process. For those interviews, I've been hoping to schedule them for mid-September. And if you're interested, then please have a look at the participant information sheet as part of the email. It will be shared with the Google Drives link. And do get in touch if you have any questions or if you would like to take part. Here's my email address, and you can also see my Twitter handle down here, through which you can contact me too. So I'd like to thank you for taking the time. I hope this has been interesting, and I really look forward to discussing this with you and learning more about your experience and about your thoughts. Thank you very much.